Well, we are actually officially rolling right now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our first official Mystery Week. Woo! You may be wondering what a Mystery Week is. And what we did for this specific episode was my brother from the same mother, Michael, and I decided to send each other two random movies that we wanted the other person to watch for whatever specific reason. And as usual, our other brother from also the same mother, Brad, we each sent him one movie that we wanted him to watch. He doesn't have access to the mail and doesn't know how Amazon works, so he didn't send any movies back for us, but we wanted him to be a part of the game, so we each picked one movie for him to watch as well.
We did?
We did. You didn't send him a movie?
Yep. Oh, I did.
Oh, you
totally.
did?
What,
Okay, good.
What podcast is this, though? That's kind of weird that we didn't get a title or anything like that.
Sorry, I woke up about like 4 minutes ago. Somebody interrupted my slumber. This is the What's in the podcast. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to a great show. So I think the first thing we should talk about is how amazing Infinity Wars was. How, the movie is the number 9 highest rated on IMDb. Fantastic movie. Absolutely no flaws. I had nothing wrong with it whatsoever. What did you think?
I thought that James Brolin's character had a bigger forehead than I do, and I haven't seen the movie yet, so...
Oh, well, honestly, you could probably pass
sure.
because that movie was...
I could register a big, strong guess that there's a lot of CGI, some explosions, stuff blowing up, and then maybe possibly some drama and quite a bit of humor dashed in there on the side, and just a whole bunch of characters doing a whole bunch of different stuff, and yeah.
I'd say outside of the movie, ending with like a semi-ballsy 20 minutes that you know they're probably going to figure out a way to get around in the next one, the movie was just kind of boring as shit. But it's rated number 9 highest on IMDb of all time. So it has to be a fantastic movie.
That's hype.
No, it's legit. This movie is the perfect movie ever made. You need to go out and see it because it has no flaws.
Is it even more perfect than Last Jedi?
Last Jedi is only rated number 27 of all time. This movie is twice as good, 3 times better because it's rated number 9.
Yeah, but Last Jedi is in the top 8 Star Wars movies ever made. Ooh.
You got me there.
That's top 10.
Are you including Rogue One in that?
No, that's part of it.
Are you including... So which one did it beat?
That's for the audience to decide.
Touche. Well, let's get into our mystery picks.
Episode 3, by the way.
Episode 3 is so much better than most of them.
No, it's not. It's fucking horrible.
No!
Exactly. And that's why it's the worst movie that's ever been made by a human being. Ever.
I don't know. It was... Of the prequel trilogies,
terrible.
I personally thought it was the best of those.
Well, that's because you're stupid.
I also think it's better than Force Awakens than The Last... I think The Last Jedi might be my least favorite of all.
It's down there at the bottom of the barrel, for sure.
But it had Carrie Fisher.
We're definitely not talking about Star Wars and Marvel movies this week.
We're not? I thought Mystery Week was actually just talking about all, 500 of the Marvel movies leading up into Infinity Wars.
There's not 500. There's a dozen.
There's more than a dozen.
Baker's dozen.
Turns out Bruce Willis is dead the whole movie. Go see it. It's great. So...
Spoiler!
No, there's actually... I'm not going to spoil that movie for anybody. It does have a really good ending. It's just the 2 hours leading up to that last 20, 30 minutes is just boring.
Maybe you just didn't understand it.
Maybe I just chose to send you our first pick Over the Top, which is the first movie of the 2 that I sent you, because I had a man walk into We're getting into the picks, by the way, for anybody listening. We will spoil these movies, by the way. So if you have not seen them,
yes. Well, we'll spoil most of them. We will not spoil one of them.
Yeah. The second pick of mine that Michael sent me, I do not want to spoil. But anyways, so I sent my brother the movie Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone. The reason behind me sending this movie is because
you hate me.
It's part of it. So
and
back when
to waste an hour and 33 minutes of my life.
That's the second part of it, just a small part of it though. I didn't want to waste the time. I wanted to enhance your time. Because I had a guy walk into a store I used to work at called FYE, and I shit you not, this guy walked into the store, real confident guy, real loud guy, real boastful, wanted to tell us, "Hey, how's your day going?" "That's going good." "That is great to hear." He puts his order down on the counter. It's 2 copies of this movie, Over the Top. And he says, "Have you ever seen this movie?" I look at it. "No, I haven't seen it. I like all the Rocky movies. I'm a big fan of like the Rambo movies and all that." He's like, "Well, it's a great movie. It's got a great father-son message behind it. The man's an arm wrestler. And what he does is he travels the world, or the country, arm wrestling. And he just found out that he has this kid. And his kid comes back into his life after their mom dies. And you know what? They have to figure out how to get along with each other after not knowing each other for 12 years. And he's telling me all about the movie and telling me about how great the movie it is, how motivational the movie is, how it's got this great message in the end. And that's why he's going to give me one of these 2 copies he's buying today." So then the man just walked out the store and he said, "You have a great day. I hope this movie changes your life." So I looked at my manager and I said, are we allowed to keep this movie? Because this guy literally just walked out the store and gave it to us. He purchased it. He paid for it. So my manager took it home and never brought it back. So I didn't get a chance to watch it. So if you're listening to this, which I don't think he is, fuck you. But, just kidding. But I did find a copy of the movie later on. I watched it because I was really interested after this guy hyped it up and was telling me how it's one of the best movies ever made. It's got this strong message behind it. And I watched it, and the movie sucked.
Yeah, it's probably like the biggest practical joke that guy's ever made in his life, and he's still laughing about it because he knows that at least one of you took it home and watched it.
Probably. I like to think
I guess the bigger question, though, is from really your store standpoint, is how the fuck did you have 2 copies of this movie on hand?
We actually had 3.
How did you have 3 copies of it? It should have been absolutely 0. Well, because never, ever, ever.
When my manager never brought it back, I really wanted to watch it. So I used my 30% discount at the time to buy the 3rd one.
Oh, my God.
And you know what? We had to order more after that.
So bad.
Yeah, tell us what you thought about it.
Like, it's just... There's quite literally nothing good with this movie. Absolutely nothing. I really feel like whoever was editing or filming the movie was basically only putting in Stallone's, like, rehearsal takes because he had no visual interest on his face during all of his acting in this movie. He was so sullen and so boring that it just, like, it couldn't possibly have been what he was trying to go for in this movie. He was basically just sitting there reciting his lines and collecting a paycheck.
Well, I think he may have been one of the writers on it, actually. Yeah, he was one of the writers. So this is a movie that he wanted to get made.
He wrote some of it. I think somebody actually had the initial story, and I think I actually read somewhere, it might have probably was on the IMDb, because what the hell else do you get information on movies for? The guy actually started crying when he saw the movie in theaters. Not because he was happy, but because he was that, he felt like he was that shit on, that's the product that they decided to deliver with his story.
Wait, Stallone was crying?
No, Stallone never cries. It was the guy who originally wrote the movie. Let's see.
Well, there's
David
like 3 other writers on there credited.
Yeah, he was appalled at the changes made to his script. He recalled having tears in his eyes upon seeing the film. Yeah, that's not good.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Arm Wrestling World Championship on the business. all I want to do.
Wow. Yeah, so anyways, this movie's a great big pile of garbage.
I think it's fun, though. For being
Nope.
as shitty and as cheesy as the movie is, I like some of the just ridiculous situations that some of the characters are put in.
How about this ridiculous situation? When Stallone wins it at the end, guess what? We heard it 1,000 fucking times. It's a double elimination tournament, yet the guy only lost once. Why the fuck is the movie over? You gotta beat him twice.
The bar
You
scene.
gotta beat him twice.
When the forces his kid to arm wrestle the bully kid.
Okay, that part was pretty funny.
You know why he beat you? Because he beat you mentally. You gave up in the middle of it. What you gotta do is believe in yourself, and you can beat anyone.
And
So
I believe in you.
I think the kid's like twice as big as your son, and he's just stronger.
But then he came back and beat the crap out of him twice.
Yeah, he did the little over-the-top thing. You know it gets serious when their palm goes open and they reclose it.
Yep.
Which is probably a terrible technique when you're actually arm wrestling. I wouldn't personally know.
Yeah, I feel like that would really hurt your wrist for a couple seconds, and then if you weren't able to come back over, the weird thing too is like anybody who had that maneuver done to them, it's like they sat there and they were like, "Oh, I hope he doesn't go over the top." Oh, he fucking did. Now, you know what? I guess I'm just gonna lose.
No, I give
because
up.
I didn't think to like counter that in any way, shape, or form. I figured I'd just sit here with my wrist, just let him do whatever he wants.
Game over, man. Game over.
Oh God, this movie was terrible. But I watched the whole damn thing. I promise.
You actually watched the whole movies? I only watched like half the movies you sent.
Well, that's because you're a jerk.
Especially one in particular.
I spent good money on shipping
Involving
for those
doors.
movies.
Did you actually have to purchase them?
Yeah.
So, a funny little background behind another one why I sent you Over the Top, and the other movie that I sent you, which I'm not going to ruin yet. I was actually going to send you two different movies, like Meet the Feebles and Dead Alive, which were the two Peter Jackson movies in his early career that most people haven't really seen. One involving puppets. But they're both out of print apparently, and each cost like $50. I was like, ooh, that's not worth it. Have you seen Dead Alive though?
I think I may have like seen it while either you or Brad was watching it one day or something like that. It might have been Bad Taste though. I can't remember which of the two that was.
Bad Taste was the first one. I know you've seen that one, or at least parts of it. And then he made Meet the Feebles, which is about puppets in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, I heard about that. I've never seen that one.
And then he made Dead Alive, which is honestly my favorite zombie movie ever made. And that's why I wanted to send it to you. And it's more ridiculous than the other movie I sent you, which we'll get to soon. But do you have anything more to say about Over the Top?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. It's a giant,
great
big pile
movie.
Of crap.
We both agree. 10 out of 10. Would watch again.
10 out of 10.
Okay.
I will never watch this movie ever again for the
I've
rest
seen
of
it
my
like
life.
2 or 3 times. I love it. It's got
Rest
a
of my
great
life.
message behind it. It's a great father-son story because they have to figure out who each other are after all these years of not knowing each other. It's inspirational,
great
man.
father-son story because they both got nominated for Razzie Awards for their acting.
Did
and guess
they?
what? The kid actually won 2 of them.
He won.
Worst supporting actor and worst new star.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he won both of them. Sylvester Stallone and the kid got nominated and he won both of them.
No, that would be cool too. But no, Sylvester Stallone got nominated for worst actor. I didn't even know the Razzies were around in 1988. That's actually kind of cool. I'm looking it up right now. I want to see who beat him out. Razzie Awards 1998. Oh, here we go.
Arnold Braunschweiber.
No, even better. Bill fucking Cosby.
That's awesome.
For Leonard Part 6. I don't even know what that is.
One of my friends from college, he's making a shit ton of jokes about Bill Cosby right now. And he said to me, I hope Bill Cosby goes to jail and they show him in the showers what a real pudding pop looks like.
Oh my god. This is actually really awesome. So, Worst New Star, David Mendenhall for Over the Top, The Kid, and he beat out Jim Varney for Ernest Goes to Camp.
What?
Yes.
You can't say that Jim Varney put in a bad Ernest movie. That's horrible.
And he beat out basically all of the Garbage Pail Kids in the Garbage Pail Kids movie. But the best part is Bill Cosby won Worst Actor over the shark from Jaws: The Revenge. Oh my god.
Oh my, the Razzies are great.
This shouldn't be as funny as it is. But anyways.
The fact that the kid lost to every single one of the Garbage Pail Kids, that's just brutal.
Yep. That is pretty brutal, because I actually thought about sending you that movie. But
I've seen that movie, and I never want to watch it again.
It's pretty terrible.
You owned it when we were younger, and I sat down and watched it. I
still have it.
I bet you do, and I
do.
Don't think that's something to be proud of.
Oh, it's something I'm definitely proud of. But anyways, so the first one of the two movies that I sent you has probably the best ensemble cast of 2009.
Right?
I mean, we are talking about Will Arnett, Zach Galifianakis, however the hell you pronounce that crap.
Galifianakis.
Bill Nighy, Sam Rockwell, recent Academy Award winner there, Nicolas motherfucking Cage, Jon Favreau, Penelope Cruz, Steve Buscemi, Tracy Morgan. Like, we could just keep going.
Wait,
but this movie is
I
called...
don't think Nick Cage is in this movie.
Oh, he's in it. See? That's how amazing of an actor he is, because you don't even know that he's there.
Yeah, he played Speckles.
Yeah, he was totally in the movie. So, the movie's called G-Force, and it's actually pretty funny. It's really stupid. It's a kid's movie, but I'm basically a kid at heart. So, it's basically about this squad of guinea pigs that goes and tries to stop Bill Nighy from taking over the world. And it's fantastic. It's awesome. It's got humor. It's got laughter. It's got romance. It's got hamsters and guinea pigs and other animals and pets and Steve Buscemi, and nothing wrong with it. Movie's great.
Yeah, I thought the movie was terrible.
You would.
No, it was, I mean, for the kids movie that it is, and the Jerry Bruckheimer movie that it is, you kind of get what you expect. They just kind of make fun of the action genre using guinea pigs and put people in just really kind of dumb situations where they're stuck in a guinea pig exhibit at the pet store with a farting guinea pig that's really fat and lazy, and Steve Buscemi plays the little gerbil in the cage that's really territorial, and they just have like little silly quirks that they do. But I actually saw this movie in theaters when I was younger, and it's a movie I never thought I was going to see again in my life.
You thought wrong.
And then I opened that package, and my heart sank. I was like, what the? No. And then I had to watch it again. And I was very, very saddened about that.
Well, then we basically had the same experience, because I feel like I had seen Over the Top previously. I feel like that's something that Dad rented.
But at least that was a fun one.
Nope.
This movie's just like a chore.
It's not a chore. This movie's freaking great.
It has its moments. There are some kind of like funny little, really stupid puns they do, which I always appreciate when...
And poop jokes.
They do have a bunch of poop and fart jokes. But the one I really appreciated was when their little fly, which is like their intelligence, their fly on the wall so they can listen to conversations, flies back and finds Zach Galifianakis' character. And he's like, "Oh, is that you? Ah, I'm glad you're back. I hate it when they catch me with my fly down." Just like little puns like that. I can appreciate that. So I appreciated some of the movie. It's just for the most part, it's just bad. I don't know. I can't really describe it. It's just bad, but it's a fun movie at some points. So I can kind of forgive it.
Basically, what you're saying is that it's awesome.
Not really. I feel like you could have done better. I said it.
Oh, please.
I said it. I went there.
From
I took
the
a
guy
picture.
who sent me over the top.
I went there. I took a picture.
Sorry, how many Razzie Awards did G-Force win?
Let's look it up.
That's 0.
I'm curious.
0.
Is it?
Absolutely none. And how many Razzies did Over the Top win?
Fuck
that's
ton.
2 and another nomination.
I'm sorry, don't Razzies mean that it's enhanced?
Nope. Sure doesn't.
Enhance. Enhance. Enhance.
Just print the damn thing.
Just print the damn thing already. Did you see the second one, Super Troopers 2?
Nope. Sure didn't. I've already seen the first one, so I don't really feel like I need to see the second one, because I guarantee you it's going to be all the same stupid-ass jokes.
That's what I thought, too. And then the movie... No.
They tweaked the jokes just enough to make you think that they're not the same jokes, even though they are the same jokes.
I thought the same thing until the movie opened up, and you find out that they are a professional rock group on a tour bus, and their tour bus gets stopped by Stifler and Damon Wayans.
Those guys are still alive?
Yes. And that's how the movie starts. You find out that they are actually in a touring rock band now. And then the movie gets really fucking funny really fucking quickly. They only really referenced the first movie a couple times, which is to be expected. And I thought they were going to rely on that a lot more. But it really does stand alone as its own movie. And then the situations that you see in the trailer where they're like going back and talking to the dude like, didn't you play the Meow game with me and all that, and redoing all those jokes, only kind of happen in very specific situations that actually make it a little bit flow better rather than feel like they're forcing it in there, if that makes sense. It's actually worth checking out.
Well, unfortunately, you just falsely advertised it because you said Damon Wayans. You did not say Damon Wayans Jr.
Whoops.
Those are two completely different people.
My bad.
If I ever see it, I'll see it. If I don't, I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth checking out. It's definitely a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
You know what else is worth checking out if you've never seen it before?
My mom!
Do you know what else is really worth checking out if you've never seen it before?
What's that?
G-Force.
Yeah, that movie's a piece of shit.
Rated PG-13.
Rated PG-13, starring Rob Schneider.
As a carrot.
As a stapler.
Derp.
Rob Schneider is a derp. Rated PG-13.
Oh my god. Anyways, okay, so
no, hold up. Do you want to talk about the movie you sent Brad, or do you want me to talk about the one I sent Brad first?
Why don't we talk about whatever you sent Brad, because I didn't send him anything.
You did? That was part of the thing.
It definitely wasn't.
Well, okay. Well, I sent Brad a copy of a movie called Old Boy from Korea. And for those who haven't seen...
James Brolin.
No, not the James Brolin one. Wait, what? It's Josh Brolin.
Whatever.
Thanos. But it's one of my favorite movies. I knew he would never watch it. And it's about a guy who is kind of like kidnapped and put in jail for... Or not jail, but just put in a room for 15 years. And he's given absolutely no reason why. He's given no human contact. The guy ends up like literally going nuts. And after 15 years, he's released. And
I mean, I don't mean to cut in, but just making sure everybody here listening knows, 15 years is quite a long time.
Yeah. It's more than 12 years. It's longer than I've even been alive.
Yeah, when you were about 14, that's actually very accurate. Like if you would have said that when you were about 14, we'd have been like, wow, that like actually is longer than you've been alive.
Yeah. But anyways, so then he gets released from this imprisonment and he's sent on this little quest forcefully to try to figure out why. It's one of my favorite movies. Highly recommend it to everybody. Brad responded by saying, I didn't really understand what was going on because they weren't speaking American, but I still give it a 10 out of 10. Well, okay. I thought he would have more to say about that.
Yeah, that's kind of strange. I guess.
I'm actually kind of disappointed with that.
Maybe he didn't even watch it. Maybe he didn't watch it. Maybe he's just a liar.
Disappointed with that. I'm not gonna lie. So, funny story.
Yeah. By the way, I did remember now that I did actually send Brad a movie. I sent him The Last Jedi. He asked me why I hated him, and he said 10 out of 10 in my top 10 Star Wars movies.
Okay. I didn't even know that was on a DVD yet.
Are you kidding? It came out like 3 months ago. I spent so much money on it. It's stupid.
I hated the movie, but I had to spend $40 on the Blu-ray 4K. Wasn't going to own a normal version of it.
I actually, unfortunately, had to get the 4K because the only version of the Steelbook that they had left in stock was the 4K. So I had to spend too much money on it, and I still have it. I haven't watched it yet, but it's still on the shelf. And, of course, the worst part is it's the wrong fucking color because all the other ones are fucking black and this one's fucking white, so it sticks out anyways. It's like, why the fuck did I even get it?
Fucking nerd buying the Steelbooks.
But yeah, I'm not like OCD about my Blu-ray DVD collection at all.
Well, I'm not OCD, but this next movie that I sent you kind of is. So.
Oh, out of control, dog.
So
Is that what you mean by OCD with this movie? Because it was out of control, dog.
No. So anyways, the second movie I sent to my brother Michelle is a movie called Ricky O from 1991. And it's based off a manga, I think that's how you say it, which is like a Japanese comic book, basically. And it is one of the most insanely over-the-top, senseless movies that I've probably ever been privileged to witness. It's one of those movies that it's just so ridiculously over the top, with people getting their heads punched in half. There's people ripping out their own intestines to strangle people. There's a giant Goro-looking dude who has snot bubbles coming out, and he gets grinded up into meat.
That was in my notes.
Yeah,
that was such a good touch. Snot bubbles on the giant fucking dude.
It's one of those movies that, for anybody who can appreciate cult cinema, it honestly is like a terrific movie to watch. It has so much going for it, and it's so cheesy, and it's just, but it's actually a good movie at the heart of it. Even though it's inconsistent at times, it's a movie that I love, and I show to people who I think would appreciate it because it is just so ridiculously great. And I'd like to hear your take on it.
Well, to be completely honest, when I first opened the package and saw the cover and stuff like that, I feel like I had faintly heard of it before. Like, you probably talked about it, but I didn't know exactly what it was. But I just felt like it was going to be a stupid pile of crap, which it kind of was, but it was actually very, very enjoyable. The movie itself is it's unfortunately over the top. Get it?
No.
But it is. I mean, it's like the gore, the violence, and everything like that. The strange factor of like the dude just punched your eyeball out from the back of your head, and then did this, did that, and then all of a sudden it's like we're best buddies. Now we're on the same team. It seemed kind of strange that happened just about every fight. But yeah, I mean it's got a story to it. It's got character development. It's got
a
wide variety of stupidity, but no, it was pretty good. I liked it.
What about that shower scene where the really fat dude goes in trying to assassinate Ricky, and he punches a hole in his stomach, rips open his stomach, and it's like a fucking waterfall of blood. And then it cuts to the face reaction of the fat dude, like screaming, and then it goes back to the waterfall of blood. And then it's just him falling on the ground with a wound that looks nothing like the hole he just punched in his stomach.
Well, I think that was part of, you realize that whoever made this movie didn't, it's not like they're taking it serious.
No.
It doesn't have to be, an exact representation of what that would look like. But, I thought it was kind of funny to see the big fat dude walk in, and it's like, oh my God, this guy's going to, like, totally kick your ass. But then, he basically stomach punched him, and now his stomach was open, and yeah, he's pretty much dead. Can't do much about that. But I don't know. I thought actually the one that got me the worst was the the previous shower scene with the old dude who got his face scraped off. Because that was one of the first things that happened in the movie from a gore standpoint. I was just right when it happened, I think Samantha was actually around too, and we were both oh no!
You ain't seen nothing yet.
That looks like it hurt. But from there, yeah, there were definitely some good ones. I liked when he punched through the one dude's jaw, and his fist came underneath the guy's jaw and out his mouth. That was probably the best uppercut I've seen since Street Fighter 2. Yeah.
What about
it's definitely a movie that if you're into that sort of thing,
what about
you gotta watch it.
Little Kim Jong-un in the movie who ran around with the lollipop?
Fucking. Oh my God, that guy needed a beating.
That dude was awesome.
It was pretty funny, but yeah, I thought it was cool, and it was cool when I was anytime I watch a new movie, I always go, straight to IMDb, get my facts, and I guess I think I read that correctly, but the dude who played Ricky O, his dad is actually the assistant warden.
Oh,
in real life.
I
thought that was kind of cool. I was like, that's neat.
Yeah, and that guy, the guy who plays Ricky, he's actually been in a lot of things lately, like all the Yip Man movies, which are great movies.
I've seen those. I've been meaning to check those out. I've not seen any of them.
They're really, really good, actually. Especially number 3, which has Mike Tyson speaking Mandarin.
Nice.
I'm not even joking. Mike Tyson is speaking Chinese. With his lisp and all.
Tyson. The Mike Tyson.
Yes. He's in the third Yip Man movie, speaking Chinese. And it's...
Now I'm going to have to get all of these.
Awesome.
Oh my God, he is. His name is Frank.
And it doesn't take it as a joke or anything. It's actually still a good movie. But it's just really funny when Mike Tyson is going, I got my lisp. My name's Mike Tyson. I'm going to speak a different language that has a lot of emphasis on the S's.
I can't even imagine, how many takes that would have taken.
14. But we have to speak about the one thing about this movie that's very shocking, outside of the gore, is how Ricky has only one weakness, and that's rebar pipes. Because he can literally do anything. He can punch a goddamn wall down with his fist. But if you put a rebar pipe holding him back, nothing he can do.
Yeah, and I thought that was kind of the weird part about the movie when I kept sitting there thinking, okay, this dude's, super strong, but you just bent some pipes around his wrist and now he can't move. I don't quite understand that.
Yeah, it's really inconsistent.
But... it has to play into the effect of the movie, but I thought actually one of the worst things was that one little dude's haircut. The makeshift, horns that he had that were dyed blonde. I was just what? Why is that a thing? That shouldn't be legal in any sense of the imagination.
I call that art.
Well... I think a lot of people would have to disagree with you.
Speaking of art, though, You actually sent me sort of an art house movie.
Art house movie? I mean, there was a house in it.
Maybe that's what I mean. Why don't you introduce the next one you send me?
So the next movie I sent you is
garbage.
Actually, it's one of my top movies that nobody's ever seen or heard about.
Although I already owned a copy of it, so now I own 2 copies. Just putting that out there.
Well, normal people have not heard about it or seen it. It's a very basic movie, but I kind of felt like it was just, when I saw it, I thought it was just great. The movie is called Right at Your Door. It was made about 2006-ish. And it's a movie that doesn't have, any sort of cast that people know. I had seen Rory Cochrane in, I think, another movie or two. And I think that's actually how I got led to this movie. But basically, it's like a kind of a dirty bomb goes off in the LA area. And this dude is at home. And his wife was going to work. And she was like, on the freeway on the way to work in LA. And, the bomb goes off, and he's just kind of like hearing information through the radio. I mean, you don't know what's going on, and it really captures that sort of feel that I feel like if I was in that situation, like, what do you do? Like, do you try and go after her? Do you try and find her? I mean, that's a needle in a haystack on its own. Do you sit tight? Do you listen to the news? Do you not listen to the news? And, it's like the whole build-up to the first probably 40 minutes of the movie is basically just him not knowing what the hell to do, not knowing what's going on, and then, it gets to a point where he kind of has to make that decision of going out there and finding her or bunkering down, and he basically seals up his house.
And he meets that old Italian dude who's like, we need a cannoli, we need to bake a pizza, we need to board up at the house. But my wife is out
Italian,
there.
But yeah, the gardener from next door or something like that just basically comes into his house and he's like, "Oh shit, I don't know where to go. Like, I don't know what to do."
He keeps yelling out, "Spaghetti, spaghetti!"
Yeah, but yeah, it's just like I don't know, something about this movie and the way that it's shot, the way that the acting kind of plays out. It just like it kind of encapsulated me in watching it, and I felt like that situation that I've luckily never been in was entirely relatable to what I feel like would happen.
Yeah, I mean, the movie's strongest point to me was the first 15, 20 minutes. I felt like the introduction to what's going on and keeping the audience in the dark and having us follow it through the perspective of the character was accomplished really well. It's definitely a low-budget-ish movie, so it kind of has that more gritty feel to it because it kind of looks like they may have shot on like handheld camcorders, HD cams or something like that, which kind of naturally give it more of that kind of look to it, especially those early 2000s types of cameras. So I thought all the build up and everything, the way the movie looked great. Don't get me wrong. All that stuff building up was done very well. I feel like the movie kind of lost me, though, for a little bit when it is kind of finding excuses to kill time in the middle.
Yep.
When he does, like, find his wife and they're just kind of, like, having conversations back and forth. And then they bring in, like, another child. But then the movie picks up again for me in, like, the last act when, they introduce the other character who's like coughing. I thought that was a really cool scene, like the friend of the wife, and he's just showing up and he's like, "We got to get out of here," and he's just coughing the whole time because you know that people could be infected, but you don't know what the infection is, who it affects, because apparently it affects people differently, but you know 100% that this guy's probably really fucked up right now. So I really liked all that stuff to it. And the ending I actually kind of saw coming. I kind of predicted that the Rory Cochrane character was going to be infected the whole time, and just not even know it. So that was kind of like, oh, I kind of saw that coming. But I'd say overall, it was a pretty decent movie. Uh, I don't know why I haven't seen it before, because I have owned the movie for a couple years. But
Yeah, it took me a while to watch too because it was one of those things where I think I had seen like a trailer for it or I'd seen the cover. The cover I think is actually really cool, and it took me a while to watch it. But then when I watched it, I was like, holy crap! This was again, it's a low budget film that's just like it grabs your attention, it keeps it. But you're absolutely right. There's a part where it kind of dies off because, and they even show it in the trailer, so I don't mind giving it away. But it's like. He locks up his house, he seals everything up, and then his wife comes back.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, in that situation, what the fuck do you do? It's like, hey, I kind of put in all this work to, like, seal it up. You weren't here, so...
I don't have a lot more duct tape left.
Yeah,
that dude hit an endless supply of duct tape.
You're kind of going to have to just stay outside. Like, I'd be so pissed if I was on the outside, but also on the inside. Like, you're torn. But then... it's kind of like, okay, now she's outside and he's inside. Like, what do you want to talk about? It's like, well,
let's just talk about life and stuff.
That part of the story was definitely stupid,
yeah.
And I feel like they could have transitioned a lot quicker to when that guy showed up, and then when the military guys were showing up and stuff like that. But I think then the runtime of the movie would have been significantly lower because it was only about an hour and a half long.
Yeah, I mean, that was just the biggest thing for me is just kind of how slow the movie gets in the middle. And I don't necessarily mind slow burning films, but like something needs to be going on. Something important to the story needs to be going on, and it just kind of got really boring.
I think it would have been so much cooler if they cut out a lot of that middle stuff and maybe added more to the end of like
dragons and explosions.
No, but like not immediately being like, oh yeah, by the way, you're kind of fucked on the inside there. But like
which
maybe
was
running
really
a little
cool
bit like
still.
more tests or something like that, and keeping him kind of again in the unknown of like, oh my god, you took my wife, you're boarding up my house, what the fuck is going on? And then like maybe towards the end it'd be like, hey, sorry, by the way, you're screwed, and this is why we're doing that. Because I feel like that would have fit the whole feel of the movie of not knowing what was going on. But
yeah.
I didn't make it, but I still thought it was a great movie. I will definitely see it again in the future, and I'll definitely continue to suggest it to other people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not thinking that we're telling anybody like this is how it should have been done because we're better.
No, absolutely.
It's like no, it's just from my perspective, it just didn't flow very well. But I when you mentioned Rory Cochrane, I was kind of because I didn't recognize him in the movie, but I looked up his IMDb just now, and I 100% know this dude.
Yeah, he's in a bunch.
Yeah, he's
really cool.
Slater in Dazed and Confused, and he's in a whole bunch of movies.
Yeah, I think I got into this movie after I had seen A Scanner Darkly, and that's where I kind of was like, hey, this guy was kind of like creepy and weird in this movie, and that's how I fell upon this one because I think that he made them in the same year. So that's I think that's how I kind of remember like finding out about it. But then going back, I'm like, oh yeah, he was the guy from Empire Records, Dazed and Confused. I don't remember if I saw the seasons of 24 that he was on because I know that I watched that show with Mom back in the day. But yeah, it was a good movie. I liked it.
If 24 was more realistic, there'd be a lot more people eating dinner and taking poops. Just saying.
Yeah, seriously. Like, the dude goes a whole day without eating any sort of food or going to the bathroom.
Jack Bauer, do you ever sleep? Do you ever go to the bathroom?
Like, you don't ever have to take a piss,
there's
bro?
There's terrorists out there. I gotta find them. I'll shit tomorrow when the show's over.
We're gonna find them. Like, dude, why are you shouting, man? Like, we're on the same team.
Mr. President, hold on. I'm trying to take a piss. It's really important, Mr. President.
We gotta film this real time. Hang on, I gotta take a piss.
That'd be interesting if they made a season of 24 and it was like interactive so you could watch the individual character's day as it's progressing to actually see when they're like eating a bologna sandwich and like their 10-minute break so they can get some food in their stomach and then go back to the mission, what's going on.
Isn't that basically the Truman Show or Ed TV?
Pretty much, yeah. That's the general idea of it.
Speaking of terrible movies.
So right at your door.
Yes, right at your door. If you've never seen it, go see it. I know we just ruined it for you, but
Oh, I thought you were saying
Whatever.
speaking of terrible movies. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
No, I'll give you, it was better than G-Force.
Well,
I did
yeah.
like the beginning, and I did like the ending of this one. It's just a lot of that middle part was kind of...
And I was going to send you another movie that I really like, and I don't know if I've actually steered you towards it or if you've seen it, but the movie The Divide.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, God, I love that movie. It's so cool. But it was
It's
like
like-
everything was out of stock that I was looking at on Amazon, or it was like too expensive. And I have all of these movies, and I didn't want to send you my copy because I wanted to keep them. But
I wasn't a huge fan of The Divide, but
What?
Xavier Gens made a really great movie called Frontiers. This was around the time when like the French new wave of horror was coming out, so like Martyrs and like High Tension, like a bunch of really violent French movies were coming out in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. Like a movie Inside is another really good one. But he made a movie called Frontiers, which is just a batshit crazy, hyper gory foreign film that's definitely worth checking out.
Sweet. I
Yeah.
will definitely look into that.
That movie's pretty fucking nuts. That and like Inside and Martyrs. If you haven't seen those, check them out. Because that was when, like after Hostel, it was really popular. Horror kind of had a bit of resurgence, but they were kind of leaning toward foreign markets and stuff like that. So we started getting some really fucked up movies from France. And it was pretty great. Short-lived, but great. 10 out of 10, would recommend. But anyways,
Sweet.
so I think that wraps
Just
up.
about does it.
Yeah. This
What do
one,
we do next time?
we'll talk about that in a second when we...
Oh,
Log off
we
this
can't
bitch.
let the viewers know because it's gotta be a
No.
mystery.
No, this Mystery Week was this week. Next week's not going to be a Mystery Week.
Oh.
Or next week.
Okay.
Probably like next month. Because the next one we're doing, we have like 8 movies.
Fucking A, that's too many.
Yeah, it'll probably take us like 20 minutes per film. But anyways, that is our Mystery Week. Let us know if you enjoyed it. Just kidding. No one's going to let us know. We don't have fans.
It was actually pretty cool, though. If anybody actually is listening, find a friend, pick a movie each. Don't tell the other person what it is. Send it to them, make them watch it, and then talk about it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun until I opened Over the Top
Well,
and had watched
which
Over
is
the Top.
funny because you texted me. You're like, you were complaining about G-Force and you sent me
Yeah.
this shit? And I was like, are
Seriously.
you responding to Ricky Yo or Over the Top?
No, because I expected something like Riccio from you. Like I knew there was going to be something like that.
Yeah.
But then when I fucking opened Over the Top, like I seriously thought maybe like you had ordered it through Amazon and they sent the wrong movie. Because
Nope.
I'm like, what the fuck? This doesn't make any sense.
Well,
it was kind of
given it wasn't my first choice, I really did want to send you Dead Alive or Meet the Feebles, but unfortunately that's what you get.
That's kind of a big change in scenery there between either of those two movies and Over the Top.
Yeah, I was either going to send you Schindler's List or the movie Labyrinth with David Bowie.
Again, either movie would have been entirely acceptable.
No, I wasn't going to send those ones. I was just thinking of movies to juxtapose. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, everybody, to the, what's it called?
What's the
Podcast. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us.